Well, good morning. Today I want to talk about this idea, a simple idea, not a very complex idea, but an idea of what is truth. If you watch people out there, science says we know the truth, religion says it knows the truth, every religion says it knows the truth, psychology says it knows the truth, every individual says, I know the truth. And how come there's so many different truths? How come these truths seem to contradict themselves? Isn't that an interesting thing? If something is true, then why are things contradicting itself? That makes no sense. You see, I've come to the understanding that we will never know truth. Capital T, capital R, capital U, capital T, capital H. In this human mind, in this human form, it is impossible to know truth. Because truth would mean to know the absolute. It would mean to know the infinite. And we are not capable of that with our sensory ability to perceive in the mind's way we function. So what we deal with is what I would call relative truth. This is truth that's based on how we see the world. This is truth based on how society sees the world. This is truth that can contradict each other. This is truth that when two people have different truths, it can lead to war. I think we're experiencing that in the Ukraine and Russia right now. Putin believes one thing to be true, the Ukraine believes another thing, and then people in the world are siding on either side saying this is true and that is true. The question you then ask is, from an infinite perspective, is it true? Can't answer that. Because then you got to ask the question from an infinite perspective, would the infinite be judging? Would it even care? That's another great conversation. It's another great question that we can ask ourselves. So it's very fascinating when we start to consider the aspect of looking at this thing called truth. And we realize that all truth, no matter what it is relative to what we believe, relative to what we feel, relative to what we've been exposed to. Then maybe we can open up and realize that maybe it's not truth, it's just really our opinion. How'd that grab you? It's just our opinion. And yet we argue and we fight and we defend and we will get rid of people because they don't agree with our opinion. You see, the fascinating thing is, if you do believe there's an infinite, call it whatever you want, and you are an expression of that infinite, then you would also believe that that infinite gave you the freedom to be you, like no one else has ever been because you're unique. If there's that freedom, then the truth is you can be anything you choose. You can have any experience you desire. The only limitation is your own mind from seeing the greater perspective of who you are. Your ability to see your truth can continue to expand throughout your life. And I believe that's what's happening. But too many people, in my perception, have shut down from the ability to look at life from a bigger and broader perspective. Too many people have settled into a very limited scope. And when you're settling into a limited scope, you have a very limited experience. It's not expansive. And so I've been saying this a bunch in recent weeks, is that love is always about expansion. Love is always about creating more. Love is always about a greater experience. Fear is always about contracted experience. In every aspect of life, do things that are expansive. If you have to do something that you feel is not expansive, find a way. Find a way to look at it as an expansive idea. If I stop this, that gives me the ability to expand in this way. And that's what has to happen. Because when you're thinking from that expansive perspective, you're growing, you're growing, you're growing. And I believe that is your greater realization of truth. I could be wrong, because guess what? Like I said at the beginning, it's all just a perspective. In about 2.5 hours, I'm doing a workshop on discovering your life purpose. It's about an hour, maybe a little longer, with questions and answers. If you're interested, I put the link there. Or you can go to agapespiritualcenter.com and you can register. It's a free workshop this week. So if you're interested in that, getting some ideas on how to figure out your divine purpose, the type of questions you might want to ask and why, yeah, it's there for you. Corey says, in the past few months, I have been working at a care facility and have noticed my change in self and recognize the same in others. Love that. When you expand, your energy impacts those around you to expand, or they can't be with you. People who are expanding cannot attract people who are contracting. You're going in opposite directions. That's pretty much all the message I want to give. Very complex topic. What is truth? You heard me say it before. I don't think we'll ever know it in human form, the capital T. All we can know is relative truth. And when we can embrace the idea that the truth that we believe we know is relative, we give ourselves freedom to see others differently and to connect with them. So with that, Peter, I don't know. You got to go to the world clock and say, what is 10:30 Central Time wherever you're at in South Africa? Well, what is it there? You can figure it out. You've got a big brain. It's called Discover the Power in You. It's a workshop. It's at 10:30 Central Time. You'll find it all at agapespiritualcenter.com on the calendar. With that, everyone, I see you. I'd like to tell you I know your truth, but I see the perfection that you are in your uniqueness. Aloha. Have a great day.